Want some spiced rum? You can't have any. It's kombucha. What's the homestead? It's kombucha? Yeah, kombucha. Am I saying it right? Well, oh, we want some whiskey? This actually is whiskey. Come on, let's go make some beverages. So I'm going to start by making some kombucha, and actually I've already made some, so I'm taking the SCOBY out of the the batch I just made. You can see it's in the back there, and I'm saving 12 ounces of that batch for my new batch. So just to know, I'm starting a little bit of a head start here. If you haven't ever done it, you might want to get a kit. I'm going to boil 2 cups of water and just bring that to a boil. And as soon as I bring it to a boil, I'm just going to turn it off, take it off the heat, and I'm going to stick about 6 black tea. I like black tea. I think you can do it with green tea also. I just like the black tea. It gets nice and rich and dark. Let that steep for like 10 minutes. I'll set a timer. 10 minutes. Here we go. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's ringing. You can turn off the timer. Thank you very much. I will take out the tea bags. And I actually compost my tea bags. I just figure a little bit of paper will compost along with all the tea that's in there. So I just throw those in my little compost bucket. I got my tea going, and now I'm going to add a cup of cane sugar to my water. Now that water's hot, so I don't have to put it back on the stove or anything. I'm just going to pour the sugar in there, and I'm going to stir it up. Now the tea and the sugar is what the SCOBY eats to ferment and turn into the kombucha that makes like a vinegar flavor. So if you've never had kombucha before, it's disgusting, but you should really, you get addicted to it. So here it is. I just poured it in. There's my batch that I just made of hot sugar tea. It's hot sweet tea. This is the South. Then I'm just going to fill it with some nice cold water here because I want to bring down the temperature because I don't want to put my SCOBY in there with all that hot water going on. But now it's cooled off. I know it's cooled off. I'm going to take my little SCOBY. I'm going to throw them back in there. Every time you make a batch, it makes another SCOBY. So there's actually like 2 there. And then now I actually have like 3 jars going. Put in my 12 ounces of original kombucha. Get the whole thing going. Fill it up to the top with some more just cold, fresh, pure water there. And I'm going to check the acidity. It's supposed to be below 4, I believe, and this is probably around 3. So that's cool. I'm going to let this sit for 2 weeks. That's my preference. That's how long I like to let it sit for. Seems to taste pretty good. So I just put it in my calendar. Kombucha been 2 weeks. So I know in 2 weeks from now, I'll check it. It'll go ding, ding, ding. Hey, your kombucha's ready. And I will go pull my kombucha. So that's my kombucha, boys and girls. Here is my next project, which is to make my own whiskey. Now, I got this as a kit for Christmas, and it's interesting. It came with all these flavored woods, and it came with flavors. And you have to buy whiskey already, so I'm not really making, but it's kind of cheating. I just bought some really cheap white mash, this white buffalo mash. It's like 1 week old whiskey. It's horrible, by the way. It's terrible to just drink it like that, but it's really cheap. So I'm going to put it in my bottle that came with the kit. And I'm going to fill both bottles, actually. And I'm going to make 2 different flavors. Now, it came with a bunch of different, like I said, a bunch of different woods. And then a bunch of different flavors. So right now, I'm just going to start with the wood. I'm going to put some woods in there. And I'm going to let the wood sit for like a while, like I think 30 days. I'm just going to let the wood sit in the whiskey. And it's sort of like supposed to be aging it. Like you think of whiskey sitting in a wooden barrel, right? It would age. So I had dark chocolate wood and vanilla dream, and then I have coffee and I have cinnamon flavors. Now I'm not going to put this flavors in yet. I'm just going to enter the wood right now and just let it sit. So starting with my dark chocolate wood, which is really just wood. I don't know. I should have tasted it. I kind of just funneled it in there I just want to make sure I got the right amount. I put it on a paper plate and funneled it in there. Now I used about half of I didn't want to, use it all up on the first batch. So I only put like half of it in. In hindsight, I probably should have maybe used more, or I let it sit longer because it didn't really get as dark as I wanted to after the 30 days. And this is the Vanilla Dream, which I guess is like a vanilla flavor. And this was actually even lighter, so I had wished I had even put more in there. But I'm going to put those. I'm going to put the caps on, and I'm just putting this whole thing aside. Come back in 30 days, and we'll check it and see how it's going. So just so I don't forget, I'm going to put a 1 on one of the bottles, and there's a little spot to label it there. I'm just going to put a 2 on the other side. I got my 1 bottle and my number 2 bottle, and then I'm just going to write everything down. I'll write the date, I'm going to write bottle 1, and I'm going to write the type of wood flavoring I put in there. I'll know when to pull it, and when those 30 days are up, I'm going to write down that I want to add on my first batch there some coffee beans to the dark chocolate and some cinnamon to the other one. But for now, I'm going to pack the whole thing up, put it away, and we'll come back in 30 days. Now, out to the garden. The blackberries were busting my blackberry bush here, so I just went out there and I'm like, I'm going to get myself a jar of blackberries. Later on, I'm probably going to do a video where we're making some blackberry jelly because I had a lot of blackberries. But I thought it would be fun to make blackberry kombucha. So, back to my kombucha. Now, here it is. It's been sitting here for 2 weeks. It's all nice and scobied up and ready to go. So, that's the first fermentation. Now I'm going to make the second fermentation where I'm going to add the flavor. And the idea is to let it carbonate. So I'm going to add my blackberries to my little handy-dandy blender here. I'm actually going to put in a little sugar in there, and I'm going to put in just a little bit of the kombucha just so it's kind of already liquidy. So it's just not like solidy, chunky. It's more like liquid, so it'll disperse easier. So I'll just blend that. When it's done, I'm actually going to strain it. So if there were any seeds or chunks, that would just stay in the strainer, and I'm just going to pour the juice that comes out of it into my kombucha. So I'm going to let that sit for a little bit. Then I just pour that mixture of yummy, delicious blackberry juice, sugar, and kombucha into the whole thing, mix it all up, and now that is going to be flavorful. So I'm going to pour it into my bottles. Now I've got a couple of wine bottles. I've got an old kombucha bottle. So I'm just filling these bottles up to the top and spilling it all over the table. I'm just going to screw the top on, and I'm just going to put these bottles away for like a week in the closet. But every other day, I'm going to go and I'm just going to unscrew the top and then tighten it back up just to let some of the gas out, because I don't want it actually starts to carbonate and I don't want it to blow up. So I want to get carbonation without blowing up bottles. So I'm putting the bottles. Now I actually like the screw off cap on the kombucha bottle better than I do the wine bottles because they seem to last better. So I'm trying to get better bottles. Meanwhile, I'm like, my wife went in and got some kombucha. She grabbed the wine bottle and thought she was getting a glass of wine and drank some kombucha, which she doesn't really like. So she was like, come on. So I thought I'll make a label. So I made the What the Homestead kombucha label that I can put on the bottle. So it's in the refrigerator. She'll know if it's wine or if it's my kombucha. So using my master Photoshop skills and my handy dandy printer, I printed out labels that I'm going to tape to the bottles so there'll be no more confusion. She could just go in there. She'll see it says What the Homestead. And if she drinks it after that, it's on her. You know, it's good for her anyway, right? So let her drink some kombucha a little bit in the morning. Good for your digestive tract. So I'm just going to cut these out. I'm going to tape it right on there, like my own labels. I'm in business now. I've got, like I said, I got three bottles going out with 3 different scobies because I just keep reproducing themselves. So I've got so much of this stuff. I'm going to have to go into business for myself. Anyway, put those in the closet. Like I said, let them sit for a couple days. Back to my whiskey. After 30 days, it actually started to look like whiskey. Like I said, the Vanilla Dream one on the right, that one's a little light. The other one's a little darker. I wish I had put more in. But remember, I wrote it down that I was going to put dark chocolate in one. But first I wanted to taste it. So I said, let me just get a little taste, see what it tastes like. Well, it's really bad. I need more wood in there. I need to let it sit longer. I don't know what. So anyway, I'm going to get my coffee beans here. So I've got the dark chocolate flavored wood. I think dark chocolate and coffee, it sounds like a mocha, right? Mocha whiskey. That's, I guess, what I'm thinking. This time I just poured them in there. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Here we go. Where's my bloop? Bloop, bloop, bloop. And then I'm going to let these guys sit in there. I don't even know, like 2 weeks. I'm going to come back and taste it, and we'll see how it is. So that bottle's ready to go right there. And then this one was the Vanilla Dream. Again, I want to try this one too. And just a little bit, a little smell, a little taste. Color's light. Tastes disgusting. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to add some cinnamon to this. Cinnamon, vanilla cinnamon. That sounds pretty good, right? Let these sit for a couple of weeks, and we'll come back and we'll try them, and then we'll get our kombucha and drink it. So that's it for beverages here with the Homestead.